How are we all? What do we think of the Ashes? Come on in. What do we think of this current test? Interesting, isn't it? Okay. It's about time we caught up again, Marcus. I need to. I'd love to be able to hear um, what Livia's plans are this side of now in the new year. Talking about going down next Christmas. Um, John, I am going to be going the next time the Ashes are in Australia for sure. I'm definitely going to be going to the Ashes when they're here, of course. But the next time, Raf, our youngest, will be 6. Seb will be 9. I can cope with a long haul flight with those two at that age, but not as a 6 and 3-year-old. You mentioned it, clear mind, being able to, yeah. You're talking about Jamie Smith, aren't you? Yeah, I know Jamie pretty well. It's been a fascinating series, isn't it? All sorts of assumptions and kind of predictions and all sorts. I'm not on the inside. Yeah, I'm not on the inside of the dressing room anymore, so I don't really know. I know a lot of the personalities. I don't know Brendan McCullum actually, so I don't know the messages there. It just Trevor Bayliss came in and he looked to take all of the pressure away from the England cricketers. And the way he did it was in his very own kind of introverted way, very calm, very measured, very simple. And Trevor Bayliss, enjoyed an outstanding career as England coach, didn't he? McCullum strikes me as somebody similar. I'd love to be able to be on the inside of some of the messages that he's giving. Everybody is different. There is so much pressure at that level. You kind of, what can I do to take pressure off? I have to say that Graham Swan, Nasser Hussain, Mike Atherton, that again, there's lots of assumptions, but I've never been able to subscribe to batters getting out, and this is just the way I play. And the reason I cannot agree with that is that bowlers, from a bowling point of view, bowlers have to adapt different conditions, different ball, different climate, different temperatures, soft ground, hard ground, swinging ball, non-swinging ball, wind conditions, grassy pitch, dead pitch, bouncy pitch, all that kind of stuff. And bowlers are always, certainly ones that I work with, always assessing and looking to adapt, slightly change the length. Against this batter, I want to bowl slightly wider of the crease into the stumps. Against this batter, I want to drag him or her outside of off stump as far as I can, and then go wide of the crease and bowl a fuller, straighter ball to get an LBW. We're always kind of tweaking, we're assessing, and we're building a plan. And I just think that, what does that look like from a batting point of view? And I've worked with some amazing people, and I'm just observing and I'm listening. And when batters come out and say, "Yeah, I'm okay with that because that's just the way I play," I'm pretty quick to say, "No, that is not the way the game is played. We cannot afford to play like that. We have to adapt quicker than the opposition." So that's an interesting one. I don't actually know if anybody, I might have missed it, if anybody from the England team has actually come out and said that. Well, that's okay. That's the way he played. I might have missed it. But if they have, it'd be disappointing. Maybe it's just something the media are assuming. I don't know. But Jamie Smith, he's a lovely, lovely, highly, hugely talented cricketer, and he'll be as disappointed as everyone else was with the way he got out. Um, he's going to absolutely smash things moving forwards. Honestly, as a personality, as a character, he'll come back from this really tough tour, having learned from it for sure, and he'll do something about it because the people that continue to learn and grow and get better, the ones that tweak things and grow and put things away if that didn't work, and experiment in order to become better and better players. And what I know about Jamie, he's one of them. You only have to look at the opposition to see how they should be playing. Yeah, earn the right to play and take the weak links down once in. Yeah, no, I agree. The Aussies they've kind of closed the game down with the ball in their hand. They've closed the game down when they've needed to create pressure, which actually they don't need at the moment. It seems they don't need to close the game down for that long for something to snap, whether it's a ramp over the keeper's head or whether it's a track down and a 6-over cover. And when you've got quality bowling attack who just have to bowl good balls, that's what Test cricket is all about, isn't it? Have the Aussies, have they done better than we expected they would do? I don't know. Probably not. I think they delivered on pretty much everything that we thought they would. Mitchell Stark has probably bowled more consistently than I was expecting. Michael Nessa, Boland, Scotty Boland, they've pretty much done what we thought they would do, haven't they? John, do you think England have executed the plans well enough? No, I don't. I just think the biggest. Whenever I'm working with individuals or teams, I talk about, okay, if it's not our day, if you don't feel great, legs are heavy, it doesn't feel quite right, timing's off, whatever it might be, uh, can you still find a way of stopping them scoring? Can you still find a way in your short spell? Because in Australia, you're not bowling long spells, are you? Can you still find a way of your 4, 5, 6-over spell of challenging the defence? I just think we've been cut and pulled too much. And Australian wickets, there's always a fuller length that you can bowl, I think, on those wickets. South Africa as well. South Africa's surfaces generally, not on all of them, but generally they have a bit of a tennis ball bounce. So you kind of know you can, you've got another yard that you can bowl and still hit the top of the stumps. The only danger with that, and I've worked with a ton of bowlers that have said, yeah, I struggle to bowl full because it feels floaty. Now, that's a feel thing, and it's probably because we normally look to really hit the deck hard. And what you're asking bowlers to do on those bouncier wickets is still to hit the deck hard, but just a yard fuller. So it might see like it's floaty full, because if you get it slightly wrong on the full side, it becomes a half volley. Oh, that's a floaty full ball. Well, it might not be, because if it's a similar speed to your top end optimum speed, that's not floaty. That's just a bloody good shot. And maybe you've just got to bring it back by half a yard. That's all that is. But I do think, I haven't got them in front of me and I've not even looked at them, to be honest. But if you look at our pitch maps of when we've bowled, I imagine that we're going to see a lot of square of the wicket. And the Aussie batters, we all know they thrive on that because that's pretty much what they get when they're playing on their wickets anyway, aren't they? Do you think no bowling? I'd love to know what the plans were, but I'm pretty damn sure that it wouldn't have included getting cut and pulled as many times as we have done. Cast is a fine bowler. Potts is a fine bowler. I just think that we haven't got it quite right. Cars can bowl quick, and he's tall and he's strong. Um, we come back to that word. I know that they would be reviewing, assessing, chatting. We've just not quite executed as well as we have been, or as well as we needed to, against an Aussie team that have got their tails up on the back of the first couple of tests. Will was pretty disappointed at the bowling, just made more determined to get that level. Yeah. I think Will's got a hell of a chance, John. I really do, because he's clear for a young kid, he's clearly observant. And, part of what I think I shared with you and all the other paid subscribers, my vision of an 8-year plan, starting with 10 years old up to 18. And the foundations of that is about movement, running, landing, hopping, jumping, balance, all that kind of stuff. Of course it is. But then, it is also about finding fun ways to read a game. What's going on? What's happening? Okay, what do you see in this batter? How are they holding the bat? Is it low? Is it low on the handle? Um, where do you see the toe of the bat going? What do you see the batter doing that could provide an opportunity for you as a bowler? What happens when you bowl a good length ball on sixth or seventh stump? Do they play the ball with a vertical bat? Because that can bring slips into play. You're just talking about stuff like that, not in a heavy technical way, but just reading the game. In net sessions, I know that in the inner huddle group, we're going to start talking about session options, and I really like having a um, having a whiteboard available in the back of the hall, and bowlers plot their fielders, and then you say, right, you've got to take one fielder away. Imagine they've got an injured and you haven't got a sub. You've got to take one fielder away. What are you going to do? And then, by the way, that's only a 40-yard boundary. What are you going to do now with one less fielder? So just fun, competitive ways to help bowlers read games. And I think that the kind of stuff that you're talking about with Will, all that is going to go into the bank. Once it's in the bank, it's there for him and anybody to kind of tap into. Those deja vu moments. Oh yeah, I've been in this situation before. What happened? What did I try? Did it work? Yes. Okay. Right. Try it again. What did I try? Okay. No, it didn't work that time. Right. What can I try differently this time? Given the same situation again. Yeah. Did I hear Dizzy talk about first time he bowled at Ponting? No, I didn't. I love Dizzy. He is such an authentic bloke. I was messaging with him through the Ashes. He's always very complimentary to me, which is lovely. I just love his simplicity. I did. Ponting used to talk about, and I think he's talked on this. It's been shared most recently about him going back to batters, assessing the situation. So Ponting used to go in and bat and assess very quickly, probably before he bowled faced his first ball, when he's waiting to go in. The length, the pitch, the bowler, and he used to very quickly assess what a good length was. And he talks about a dinner plate, doesn't he? He used to kind of, a good length is a dinner plate, and if the bowler lands it on a dinner plate, I'll respect it. That's his defensive. But if he misses a dinner plate, and it's a pretty small target, isn't it? If the bowler doesn't pitch it on that dinner plate, then it's an opportunity for me to score. And Ricky just used to go about his business like that. Geniuses can. To a lot of batters, that dinner plate becomes a massive kind of trade, isn't it? Yeah, I will ask him. A4 square, yeah. First time he bowled at Ponting, yeah. He wasn't how he got him out. I will ask him. Sounds like there's a story behind that one. We've got another 10, 15 minutes. Is there any questions? What are people doing? Happy New Year, by the way. Thanks for jumping on, as always. Um, I'm assuming that people are going to be starting back pretty soon with their winter training. How I'm assuming there's a real mix here of parents, coaches, and players. There's 10 of us on this call, but it's going to go out to far more. Um, how are we going with winter training? Mm, What are the challenges that people are facing? Um, and how are we gonna make sure that whoever we are coaching in our sessions, or playing with and training with, or dropping off if you're a parent, how are we gonna make sure that everybody gets the most from each session? And that could be if you're a parent. What sort of questions can you ask in the car after the training session? Um, what made you laugh? What made you laugh in that training session? Because it's there to have fun, right? Um, without making it too formal, you know, um, who really impressed you? What number of teams? What teammate really impressed you tonight? Okay, why was that? Did you bowl them? How did they play against you? Just real kind of conversations around the game, not the sort of things that I fall into the trap of when I pick up the kids from school. How was your day? What did you learn? I don't think that's the right way to do it. Getting nothing from them anyway, but did you hear a joke today? What was the best joke you heard? Something a bit different. And coaches, um, something something like a question I always ask myself: did I make everybody at the session smile today? Did I call everybody by their names? Um, did I make sure that I arrived at the training session with energy? Was I clear in what the session was about? Did I think long enough about how the session was going to be set up? Just something. And then as a player, if you're a player here, um, did I go into the session very clear on the one thing that I needed to improve in that session? Or did I just wait to be told what to do by the coach, which often happens? Um, it's always an interesting one. My first day back coaching, because I did have a bit of time off, was last Sunday down at Epsom College. 10 one-to-ones back to back. Loved it. It was hard work because I want to make sure that every single person that I coach um, gets something from the session. I want to make sure that I give them that opportunity to see a visual of them. I use record them quite a lot, and I'm recording clips, and they get access to the clips, and we're building a bit of a library because I want to every time I see them, right, this is what we were working on. This is where you were. Let's have a look at where you are now. Have you improved that front arm? Have you improved the way you're moving your arms in your run up? And that's why in the winter and in the summer, I use clips in the summer as well, record clips. The building a library, a bit of a journey, because then being able to kind of see something that's a little bit different and try and pinpoint the reason why it's different. And it could be different in a good way. It could be, wow, they look more bouncy in their run up today. Not necessarily say anything to them, but just observe it. And do they look bouncy in their run up again the next training session or in the next game? It could be that they've started swinging the old ball, just something. And I just really enjoy, I think it's important for me and for the people I'm working with to grab those clips, to be able to take away the guesswork, because we all got perceptions, right? To take away the guesswork, what is actually happening. And the other reason I do that is I could ask someone, how does that feel? Yeah, it feels like I'm falling away less there today. Okay, well, let's make sure that is the case, because lots of bowlers feel something that actually isn't the case at all. So matching a visual to what they might be feeling is also really important. And one of the other questions I ask is when it gets closer and closer to competition time, um, if you're performing really well, what am I seeing the other side of the boundary as a coach? What am I seeing? And you're getting them to describe them performing really well. Because if I've got a visual and they've got a feeling, it gives me, even during competition, if I need to, the opportunity to communicate with them if I need to. You're running in slightly too quickly. If it looks like you're running in slightly too quick, if I've got a template of them performing really well, um, you're taking 3 minutes to get through your 6 balls, where normally when you're slightly more measured and executing really well, you're normally 3 minutes 30, something like that. All right. But where are we all at? That's me. This is what happens when I start talking about stuff. Have we got Craig? How you doing? Um, James, is that James Lowe? You know, he stands back. The Cricket Baba, how are you? Is there anything else that I can help with on this call? I'm just going to plug my phone in. Is there anything else that I can help with? Otherwise, we will call it a day. We had snow. We've had snow up here the last 2 days. The boys were off yesterday, inset day. I can never really understand why we've had a school holiday and then the first day back they have an inset day. But teachers are entitled to holidays as much as anybody else. But it was good because there was snow yesterday. We made a pathetic snowman because the snow was very fine. It wasn't that compact stuff. I was really looking forward to playing snowball fight with my 6 and 3-year-old and bullying them, but I couldn't do it. Is there anything else? Big B, I'm just about to sign off, my friend. Where are you calling from? Or where you've joined from, Big B? Are you in the UK? What part of the world are you in? I'd love to know. Just put something in the chat. I do have an opportunity here to invite people on. Maybe we'll do that on the next call. John, you can come on and talk me through your Australian experience recently. Big B, talk to me. Thank you for joining, by the way. I do not take this stuff lightly. Ah, brilliant. I am about to, at some point soon, hopefully this week, jump on a call with somebody in the US to analyze their action. Wolfgang, lovely to see you. Big B, sorry for joining late. No, it's no problem. I'm just glad you're here with us. Wolfgang, all good. Yeah, we'll do that next week, John. And I think I can help you with some analytics. All right. DM me. Tell me what you're thinking. Yeah, John. We will do that next week, if that's all right, if you are around. And don't forget, those that are a member of the Inner Huddle WhatsApp group, message me where you are at with your planning. What are the challenges? How you're putting your programs together? Because I would love to have a small part to play in making sure that you are delivering everything that you want to deliver. And let's be honest, every time we coach, whether it's group or one-to-ones or whatever, we are doing it to help that individual, or individuals. So what does that look like? And it's not always easy in a freezing cold indoor facility here in the UK. 2 lanes, you've got 20 kids. How do you do it? There are ways, but it's not always simple. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Big B, make sure you message me. Give me some sort of idea what you mean. Wolfgang, glad you managed to join us. I'm just about to sign off, May. I'm looking forward to catching up with you and Rafi. Doesn't look like there's anything else. If there is anything in particular that you'd be really interested in me covering, me talking about, I'm always referring back to some old notepads. This is my notepad when I was working with Surrey, Friday the 23rd of June. This is how I used to put together a training program. Warm up, fielding, whole group ground fielding in the cage. The cage was a grass facility. Split into 2 groups, cover catches, long catches, Burns, Borthwick, Sangakkara, Sibley, Batty, Pope, McCurr, Rampur, Footit. Decent group to work with that day. And then 30-minute slots in one net. And then some drill nets as well. I love going back through these old things because I didn't know it at the time, but it's just stuff that I can refer back to and share. Do you know what I mean? This is our game against Essex. Surrey, first innings, one big partnership, and an 88 by Rocky Marcus.
I found some wet results.
Sorry.
If you ask again from your iPhone.
Needed another one to see us up to 450 to 480 to set the game up. That was first innings. Essex. There were examples of bowling in partnerships at the top of the stumps. Ravi Rampal, Sam Curran. Meeks getting more balls in an awkward area. Batters go bigger. These are all reflections. These are ongoing, it's like thoughts, notes that I can't remember everything. So I needed to write it down. Training today, this is obviously a transfer from red to whiteboard. Training today is not just about getting a different color ball in your hand. It's about practicing the skills we'll need next week. Think ahead. We know what they will come at us with. Who's going to come at us? See if I can work it out. Warm-up fielding. Hampshire. If you don't use a notebook, I do highly recommend it, unless you've got one of those brains that just remembers everything. But as we move through these calls, I'm going to be sharing stuff that I can share. There's obviously a line that I will not cross with regard to my relationships with players and trust and things. But there are plenty of things in these books that are relevant to everybody, particularly planning, reviewing, just these little insights into. I'll give you one quick insight. We played a game at Worcester. Sangakkara, bless him, absolute genius. We all know that. He'd assessed the wicket, and a quick bowler was on. I can't remember who it was, but the wicket was a good one. Mid-off and mid-on were up, and he decided, right, if I can get on the front foot, I'm going over mid-off and mid-on. Because he felt, because the wicket was so good, a good length was just above the top of the stumps, so in between front foot and back foot. But if he was able to get on the front foot, if the bowler missed their length full, he was just going to go over mid-off and mid-on, because they were pretty tight, because they was looking to stop the single. And he just felt that even if he didn't connect, it was a free hit. Even if it didn't go for 4 or 6, that's not what he was trying to do necessarily. but he felt that if I can get on the front foot, I am going aerial because it was a free and it was a safe shot in his mind. And that's about, going back to your comment or the chat earlier, John, about Will and just reading the game sort of thing. What can seem to be a risk in some people's minds is often the safer option just by reading the game. James Lowe, I'm just about to stop the call. Lovely that you've joined. You've caught the last 30 seconds. James, I'm looking forward to catching up with you tomorrow night. Right, listen, I appreciate you all as always. Paid subscribers, there is going to be a newsletter going out but before the end of the week. Let's use that group WhatsApp to share stuff. And as always, I really appreciate you being here and giving me some of your time, your precious life time. Right, catch you later. Cheers.